former SMART employee that was discriminated against by SMART, which the Michigan Department of Civil Rights did find that I was discriminated. I presented sufficient evidence, and the case was appealed to the Oakland County Circuit Court, and the appeal was denied. This is since 2004. The reason I'm here today is to bring to light my recent request for the Freedom of Information Act, requesting the attorney fees that SMART paid Zosmer Kaufman since they were hired well before the case was filed. That FOIA request was denied based on, I don't understand, they quoted some law which has absolutely nothing to do with it, because if I remember correctly, on March 20th of 2003, Mr. Poison asked that the attorney fees be brought to the SMART board quarterly for approval, because at that time, Mr. Gordon, the general counsel for SMART, had a $1 million attorney budget. That was on March 20th of 2003. The day after I got this letter in the mail at SMART, which stated, "Look over your shoulder, sand nigger, your ass is hit." I went to Monroe the day you guys had the meeting, to the city of Monroe, because that's where the meeting was held. I complained to you guys about this. Your newly superintendent that was hired, and no experience, no transportation experience, told another guy, which he testified, that he thought this was funny. The fun was just beginning. He thought this is funny. Maybe if he wouldn't have been white, he wouldn't have thought this is funny, because I didn't believe anybody would think this is funny. You never did anything to him. Keith Taylor, superintendent, I bet he's ready to be promoted. I was written up when I got back to that terminal that day. The reason I'm here today is because I don't know what you have to hide. I have minutes from the 2008 board books outlining the attorney fees that SMART paid. Back then, you guys were over $4.5 million in attorney fees. What could have costed so much for attorney fees? Labor disputes, whatever? Come on, are you kidding me? This FOIA should never have been denied. And SMART has already admitted that there's been discrimination. Like I told you a couple years ago, after the Civil Rights Commission found in my favor that you can spend $1 billion of it, but this money that you're using is not your money. You guys think that you're not accountable to anybody because you guys are the big shots. The reason I'm here today is because I'm going to take this to the public and let them know that you guys have turned a blind eye. You've allowed a lot of this stuff. You've met, obviously you know how much money you've spent on these attorney fees. You've cut services in Farmington Hills. You've cut services other places. And you're saying for what? So you can pay out attorney fees for something that you know you're guilty of? No one's going to change the truth. As you know, I haven't prepared anything. I can sit here and tell you about the board meeting that we had in October of 2004, after the Detroit News wrote the article on the front page about SMART being investigated by the FBI. I remember I told you, Mr. Poison, I showed you a picture of Rodney Bolton wearing a towel on his head mimicking Arabs. The same guy that you guys allowed to do what he did to me and for me to lose my job. I told you and I showed you a picture of it. You didn't go back there and do anything. You did absolutely nothing. You asked other people that were standing around. Surprisingly so, that board meeting, you guys had... I'm sorry?
This is 20 minutes remaining on his time. 30 seconds. Mr. Barish.
I was never given a time, ma'am. I would have condensed it a little better if I would have known there was a time limit on this.
The standing SMART board policy on public participation is 5 minutes. That was announced at the prior board meetings earlier this year. You have 30 seconds to finish your comments. Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, at that board meeting, you guys had Rodney Bolton there ready to save you guys. When Matt Wergow was ready to say, Mr. Bolton, you want to dispute any of this stuff? Anyway, make a long story short, you guys know what you're doing. This is not your money. Spend it on transportation. Don't spend it on attorney fees. And by the way, the new case that you have now for fraud in Oakland County, why haven't you asked the FBI to prosecute that? Why are you using money for transportation to try to get peanuts back from one of your former managers that you've accused of fraud, and one of the vendors, which was a brother of another vendor, that Mr. Gordon admitted in federal court that he had committed fraud. That's right, Mr. Gordon. The email that you sent me talking about none of it was true, it was absolutely true. You guys know all about it. Maybe the city of Detroit needs to come in here after you guys have taken away some of their funds. Thank you very much.
Do we have any other members of the public who wishes to address the board?